The return of the vlog. Good morning, on my way to the bus. I was talking last night to old school friend of mine, shout out to Mandy, and she's like, why don't you just start making these vlogs again? If you like doing them and you think they're interesting, and I do kind of like doing them. One of the concerns I always have with them is whether or not I am involved in misinformation sometimes. And I think that's the only problem, ironically, that experts in certain things have. Because you look at YouTube and people are talking about all kinds of stuff they have not researched. And they just believe it's true because it's obvious. They're looking at the observable. And there's lots of traditions that question our senses and the observable and encourage us to be more critical. And one of the ones I like the best is Buddhism, which says that one of the precepts of that is whatever's observable is not what things are. That's what we're perceiving. It's not what they are actually. Behind them, there's really not that reality that we think is there. So the less you know, the more confident you are to make like a 20-minute video about some topic. Oh man, they're jamming out in the laundromat. There's my copyright for today. So I'm probably going to make more vlogs. I really like doing it. It's a lot of fun. And perhaps I can say something smart. Today, I'm teaching a couple of things. One is for my classical rhetoric course, which is a small class. It almost didn't run. There are only 6 people in it, so I was surprised it ran at all. Normally the university cancels things that are under 10 people. So I was very surprised. Kind of threw it together. I think it's going pretty well. And today we're doing Rhetorica ad Herennium, which is supposed to have been written by Cicero, maybe. I think so. People aren't sure, but that's such a good guide to putting speeches together. It makes me think I should assign that as the first thing we read in public speaking. Because Cicero, or supposed Cicero, says, well, you know, if you're defending somebody from a charge, here's what you do. That's where he starts, because he's an attorney. He's thinking about forensic rhetoric about the past. And I'm like, man, that would work so well for like just defending a position, something you believe in. So teaching them that method and having them give a speech defending something you believe in from the charges out there might be a nice way of introducing contextual argumentation, or what we call rhetorical argumentation, as opposed to philosophical argumentation, which is based on logic and validity and things like that. Rhetorical argumentation is contextual, audience dependent, and rather fluid. So you can't hear the same argument twice, kind of thing, just to paraphrase that famous Greek story about the river. Then in public speaking, we're talking about David Bohm. And what's funny about David Bohm is this is a book that I've only really taught, ironically, at debate workshops around the world. I always kind of talk about David Bohm a bit, because he's an expert on dialogue. He wrote this book on dialogue. He's really an expert in physics, about optics and lasers and physics, quantum physics. But David Bohm wrote in the second part of his life about dialogue and the importance of dialogue for politics. So I had them read that. Hopefully they read it. You never know. It's hit or miss these days with students. And I think after I cross the busy street here, maybe I can talk some more, but it's going to get kind of loud. But this is the busiest street in my commute here. Right next to the Puppy Club, which I think is very funny. It's not really a nightclub. It's more of the dog daycare. Doing a little gardening in the office today. Went to the dollar store and got some pots and things, because one of my colleagues has some plants that need to be repotted, so we're doing a little gardening in the break between classes today. So I'm carrying that with me, which I normally wouldn't have. It's a nice commute. It's a bit of a longer walk to the bus than from my old place, but my old place I could just walk a mile to the university. But there wasn't anything else around there to do, so I like my new apartment better. Moved in June here in northern Queens. I'm on the south side of Northern Boulevard, which is pretty good. So anyway, back to David Bohm. David Bohm argues that people are like photons, like in optics, and if you concentrate people enough in one direction, they can cut through anything like a laser. So he tries to write a series of books, and On Dialogue is his most famous one, about the power of dialogue, which he defines in a very specific way, about subverting the ego and not trying to win your position, but trying to get to the root of why that position is established. One of the most interesting things he talks about is about the nature of facts, and how a lot of times we will create different connections when we hear something we believe in our mind that we believe are external, and then we'll treat them as such. And this is just so similar to Buddhism. And it's very similar to the work of Chogyam Trungpa, who talks about cocooning and how we build a safe cocoon around ourselves of things that are familiar with, and we call it the outside world, and we say we're perceiving the outside, but really what we're doing is seeing what we've painted on the inside of what's safe for us. So in that book, so that's the reading for today. So after completing that reading, I think we have a lot to talk about in terms of dialogue, argument, public speaking, discussion, all of that. So the best thing I've done so far this semester in public speaking is move all of the speeches outside of the classroom. It's done a lot for my eagerness to teach and the quality of the class, to put all the speeches on video instead of having endless days where people are just speaking, giving 6-minute speeches. I just don't think the classroom is the best place to teach public speaking. I think speaking to a camera is a good skill to learn. So we'll see if I die here in this intersection. A lot of cars. I probably shouldn't leave so late. I'm kind of leaving later than I'd like to, but what can you do? Is up till like 12:30. So I'm thinking about filming my David Bohm talk, posting it as a lecture, even though it's not a formal lecture, it's more of a classroom, but I think a lot of good ideas will come out of that. So I'm gonna get my nicer camera together. This camera's pretty nice, this is a GoPro, but I'll get my other nice vlogging camera set up and maybe record some of that. And tomorrow's St. Patrick's Day. So I'm going to the bar, have a couple of drinks, have a nice dinner, and see the crazy New York. So I might take the camera into New York with me tomorrow. Well, I'm in New York right now. It doesn't look like it. I'm in Queens. But to Manhattan, see some of the crazy St. Patrick's Day festivities. So that is morning rhetoric. What should I call it? What should we call these, like, morning chats? It's like Today in Rhetoric or something. But it's not really Today in Rhetoric. It's like Today in Steve's understanding of rhetoric and what he's going to teach. But anyway, David Bohm and Rhetorica ad hernium, which I'm probably mispronouncing. If you're a classicist, you could tell me how to say it better. My Latin is non-existent. I did study Latin a little bit, but never anything really formal or useful like I did with ancient Greek. That's still very useful. I did that formally for about a year, and that has served me pretty well. Okay, well, if you like this, and you like talking about rhetoric, and you like seeing lectures, informal and formal, on different topics about speech, debate, argumentation, oratory, please make sure to subscribe to the channel and take a look at some of the other videos.